Hello, my name's Barbara Ross and I went to Morpeth Grammar School for Girls and later King Edward VI School Morpeth between 1969 and 1976.
Now Barbara, I believe today that you've helped bring together a lot of former pupils of those schools for a heritage event. Tell me how that came about.
Yes, that's right. Well, I know that King Edward's are very interested, obviously, in the community aspect and also that they're doing some heritage work. So it was an opportunity to come together with the Friends of Morpeth's Floral Clock and do a little bit of fundraising as well as to have the heritage event. Of course, although a lot of our pupils here went to the Boys and the Girls Grammar School and also to King Edward's, we also have represented pupils who went to Newminster and Chantry and some of the primary schools and junior schools as there were in Morpeth.
So how many people have you got, and have you got any former teachers?
We certainly have. Two of the former teachers who are here today, that I'm aware of, are Mrs. Armstrong, who was the PE teacher in the Girls' Grammar School and later King Edward's, and we also have Mrs. Doswell, who I believe taught music. There were other people who wanted to come. We do have other teachers, former teachers who wanted to come, but unfortunately are on holiday. And we have lots and lots of interest in events like this. And next time we organise one, we'll probably try to do it on a weekend because many people who attended these schools are still working. Even though they would have been delighted to come, they weren't able to attend today.
And what about your own memories of school? People always say that school days are the happiest days of your life. Was it like that for you?
I wouldn't necessarily say it was the happiest days of my life. Certainly looking back, I think people are always filled with nostalgia about their school days. But I think we were all very lucky to go to school in Morpeth. I was certainly given a lot of opportunities, and at both the grammar school and King Edward's, we were taught values in life, and many of these values stay with you for the rest of your life. What was absolutely drummed into us was that what you put into life is what you get out of it. So that if you work hard and act with determination and motivation and resilience, you will get the rewards eventually. Now I know that doesn't work 100% of the time, but a lot of the time it does work.
Hello, I'm Karen Gall, formerly Karen Norwood. I attended Morpeth Girls Grammar School from 1966 to 1973, and 1973 was the last year of the Girls Grammar School before the two schools amalgamated.
Now a little bit also tells me that you were actually the last head girl at the school.
I was, yes, I had that pleasure in 1973, yep.
And what was it like at school in those days?
Lots and lots of happy memories, made lots of friends, and it's really good to be catching up with some of them again today. We spent our first year down at Newminster because there wasn't room for us in the old girls' grammar school before we moved up the hill here. Remember school outings, trips to London, music society, choir, lots and lots of memories. It was good days.
And school in those days, I think, was perhaps a bit more disciplined than it is today.
I think so. I was just saying earlier on to someone, I remember having to kneel on the desk to get the length of my skirt measured to make sure it wasn't too far above the knee. Yeah, very hot on the uniform.
Yeah, tell us a bit about the uniform.
Oh dear, remember my green pea-boat hat that we had in first year? Couldn't wait to get on a few years so we could have the barrier, which is a wee bit more fashionable. Bottle green, to this day I still don't like wearing green very much because of the bottle green uniform, but I think everybody knew who we were. Yeah, the other schools and that always knew who went to the grammar schools.
And weren't there am I right in thinking there were some sort of strict rules about where you could be seen or when you should wear the uniform or not wear the uniform?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, whenever you are even walking down to the bus and things like that, after school you always had to have your hat on still, and anytime you're representing the school always had to have your uniform on, and yes, it was very, very sacred.
And what do you think about the education that you got here? Do you think you were well educated?
I think it stood me in good stead for where I went to later on in life. I always found the majority of the teachers really encouraging. I moved on to to college in Scotland after I left here, actually. But yeah, no, I thought I got a good grounding.
And what career did you go into?
I trained as an occupational therapist.
And I also hear that you've also moved away.
I have. I've been living in Australia for the last 30 years. So I was fortunate that this was happening when I was back over for a holiday this time. So it is really good to be here and catch up. Yeah.
It must be nice to meet old friends that you haven't seen for many years.
Oh, it is. Some of these girls I haven't seen since I left school, so it's really good. Yeah.
My name is Sheila Clark, and I'm a citizenship teacher in King Edward VI School in Morpeth.
Now the school's been having a heritage event today, which has drawn a lot of pupils from past years. Tell us a little bit about the school's archive and what plans you have for it.
Well, we've got almost 500 years worth of archives. Some of them are in a little bit of a poor state, but there's some very important records, and we'd really like to take care of them a lot better than what we are doing at the minute. They've obviously been moved around quite a lot in school over the years, and the idea is to do something with them to bring them alive so that we can show people history, but we can talk about living history as well and try and gather some more information. Ultimately, our aim would be to have an archive website, because that would store a lot of things, and we do need to talk to a specialised service. Possibly Woodhorn would be a good one, because they certainly have the expertise to digitise things. When you've got a lot of records, you have to look very carefully at what you're going to do with them in the future, and if we can do partly digitisation and perhaps some community events at the same time, work with all of the different heritage groups. I mean, today is a lunch that's all about our history. It's the girls' grammar school, the boys' grammar school, and it's about how the schools merged as well. The people that are inside today having their lunch, they're just full of stories, and they're wonderful about how things happened, what it was like to wear the uniform then, what the teachers were like, what the buildings were like. And of course, when you've got photographs in the archives, a photograph is one thing, but the story behind the photograph is something totally different, because then it brings it to life, and that's exactly what we want to do. And some of those stories could be stored digitally on our archive website in the future, and that would be great.
And how are you involving current pupils of the school in the project?
Well, we've just started today. This is our test. We put a little poster out on our website. We sent it out to various different websites around the town, Morpeth Matters. We've talked to people as well about running this community lunch to gather stories from the 1950s, 60s and 70s. And within that is the story, of course, from Barbara Ross about the floral clock. And it's partly about the school history, but capturing the town history at the same time. Obviously, when Barbara was at school, the floral clock was just being put into place. So I think everyone that has heard about our community lunch this time has been rather excited about getting together, meeting up, seeing old friends, meeting others that they haven't seen for years. And there's quite a lot of excitement about that. So I think this time we have 40 people, and we've also got some of our students here as well. From a point of view of school history, they're gathering information, and I think it's quite a learning curve for them. So I think we need to do more of this in the future. That's what the people are telling me today.
So if there are people out there who are former pupils who haven't heard about today's event but would like to be involved in future, how should they get in touch?
Through the website, or they can ring directly through to school, or they can email me, and that's quite simply, it's sheila.clark@thethree-rivers.net.